stretch therapy is a wonderful way to discharge accumulated tension and ease those aches and pains all by yourself. This 30-minute session will teach you simple, effective techniques for back, neck, and shoulders. So as I said, Cherie is our instructor for today. She has 22 years of experience at Sydney Stretch Therapy, and all you'll need for the day is a dining room chair and possibly a beach towel for padding. So having said that, I will pass over to Cherie. Thanks, Cherie.
Hi. So very simply done. We're just using a chair, and you may need a towel to put under your knee when we do a hip flexor stretch or to support your foot or something like that. So I'm going to try to make it easy to follow along. And if you can save your questions till the end, then I'm happy to answer all of that. So we're going to sit on the front of our chairs so that we can sit up nice and tall, so that you're going to have your shoulders relaxed and your head balanced. We're going to do a little bit of neck work first. Now, I found that when you're doing a little neck routine to try and ease up a stiff neck, it's just better to stick with some basic movements. So we'll start off with our hands are going to be open in our lap so that it keeps it nice and relaxed. And you're just going to let yourself nod yes. So the first movement is nodding yes, because that is a flexion extension movement. You're going to move slowly with full awareness. Now, when you're doing this, you're concentrating the movement right at the top of the neck versus at the bottom of the neck. So this is not a full movement where you're going forward and back. You're trying to actually make it a very tiny movement at the top of your neck. So just flexion and an extension. And when you're lifting up, you can feel there's a stretch in front of your throat. So this is just first warming up the neck movement. So the lubrication inside of your joints, we need about 20 seconds before it starts becoming more slippery and helps you with your neck movement. And you'll notice as you're doing this, it's getting easier. Okay, so pause there and just note how your shoulders feel, because because of the neck and shoulder connection, it already starts feeling like there's some circulation happening. Now, keeping your shoulders really still, turn left to right. So you're nodding no, and you're trying to feel that movement just at the top of the neck first before you go any deeper. You can do this with breath. So you want to take a breath in the center and exhale when you look over your shoulder. And then inhale as you come back to center, and then exhale as you look over your shoulder. And as you're doing this, you're keeping yourself relaxed and really still in the body. And as you become relaxed, notice that your breath is longer. So you take longer to exhale and longer to inhale. And notice that you can actually go a little bit further each time. Let's just do a couple more. So when I'm doing this, I do about 10 repetitions to each side. That starts warming things up very nicely. It's more about the feeling than actually following a number. This is really important. Now, let's come back to the center and just test your nodding yes again. And already I can feel that my neck is moving a little bit more freely just with those two movements. Okay, the next one is doing circles, but we're going to split ourselves. I'm going to be your mirror. This is your left side. This is your right side. When you're doing a circle with the tip of your nose, you're going anti-clockwise to the left. So imagine it's a very small movement. Imagine that you're actually Mr. Squiggle. Remember that? I used to love watching that. And you're using your nose to draw a circle anti-clockwise. Now let's go clockwise to the right. Now, if you hear any noises, slow down. That's one of the things that tells me I'm moving too fast. So that's it. You're doing a great job. Now come back to the center. Now watch this first. Don't do anything. This is actually what we call backstroke with your ears. And you're going to put those two circles together. So you're going up to the left, up to the right. So you're actually doing backstroke with your ears. So if you imagine that you're swimming with your ears, you think it looks like this. So you imagine you're drawing an infinity symbol with the tip of your nose. You've got those two circles together. So anti-clockwise to the left, clockwise to the right. Anti-clockwise to the left, clockwise to the right. So let's go. So slowly, back left, back right, back left, back right, back left, back right. That's it. Now you can start exaggerating it a little bit more if you're comfortable to try and look down behind your shoulder. And as you turn and look up to the other side, then look down behind your shoulder, rotate up through the middle, look down behind. And just feel how well you can move your neck. And then let's go back to very tiny, little tiny infinity symbols. It's like a little figure eight lying on its side. And this is about you just feeling what it's like to draw with the tip of your nose. And stop. You can reverse that and do the circles towards the center, but that's like doing freestyle where you're swimming forward. But this is preferable to help open you up through the front of the neck, so that if you've been curling over a lot, doing a lot of lifting or a lot of computer work and your head's forward, you look like a chicken, then it's time to look back, because that's helping you lift your chest. So just notice how that feels now in your neck and shoulders. Okay, so you can go back to nodding yes, nodding no. Just testing that. It's just very simple. That's a little routine you can remember. So yes, no, circles in both directions. So you marry those together and you do your backstroke with your ears. And if you can do that every day, that will actually help with a lot of neck tension. So if you actually feel your neck now and just feel how comfortable that feels or not, this is what you can do to actually get really good movement in the neck. Okay, let's go to the chair. So I'm just going to change the angle of the camera. So I'm going to move my stool out of the way. I'm going to sit on a chair. Now we do a bit of back work. And actually, I'm going to turn sideways and show you a forward bend using the chair. So just a tiny bit. Okay. Now, when we're doing any kind of movement, we've got to be able to tuck. This is a tuck and untuck your hips. So if you put a hand on your belly, a hand on your lower back, and just see if you can move your hips as you sit on the front of the chair. This can help change your experience of all the stretches. So when you untuck, you get a stronger stretch around your bottom, around your lower back, and around the back of the legs. Now, I'm going to do a forward bend in the chair, so just watch this. I'm going to lean on one leg. Actually, I'll go at a little angle just so that you can see there. And then on the other leg, just to see that I can actually feel that this is a comfortable position for my back. If you need to put something like a stool or a book or a yoga block in front of you to reach the floor, you can do that. But this is just to stretch around the lower back and the hips. So then I reach one hand down onto the floor, then the other hand, and I let myself sink in between my legs. I can make it stronger by holding on to either the chair legs or the strut of the chair and just pull myself in a little bit deeper. To come out of the stretch, I put a hand on the floor, a hand on my knee, hold my breath, and sit up. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the little angle so you can still see me. Okay, so sitting on the front of the chair, I'm going to lean one elbow on the knee and then the other elbow. Make ourselves very comfortable. You don't have to watch now because you did watch me, so you can just keep your head down. Take a breath. Reach one hand down onto the floor. So that feels okay. Let the other hand go down onto the floor. And let yourself sink in between your legs so you get the best stretch around your lower back.
So nice, deep, even breathing. Now, if you can't reach your chair legs, you need to slide your bottom back a little bit more. Move your feet if you need to. Reach and cross one hand to reach one leg and cross the other arm over to reach the other chair leg. Take a breath and then gently pull yourself forward. If you can't reach, you can actually hold with one arm to one leg and the other without crossing and just pull yourself through. It's a very nice stretch around your lower back. Let your neck hang, let your head hang forward, because the reason is you want to feel your spine getting a full stretch, bending forward. Stay there. Couple more breaths. Come out. Put one elbow on your leg, put one hand on the floor if you need to. Hold your breath and push yourself back upright. Pull your shoulder blades back. So that's a stretch for your lower back and around your hips. Okay, now I'm often asked what to do about sciatica and sitting for a really long time. And that means that we have to be able to untuck our hips. Now, if I watch this first before we follow along, I'm going to lift my leg up. So I'm sitting on the front of my chair, put my hands behind my leg, and I just lean back with my body to get my leg up onto my thigh. In this position, I can start pulling myself forward by holding onto my own leg. Now, if you can't get your foot on top of your thigh, you just start with your support leg lower down. So if you start like this and your support leg's lower down, just link your fingers behind. Let's follow along now. Lean back, pop your foot on just above your knee there, and then just slide your support foot up. So you're actually nice and comfortable. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like from the side a little bit. So if I give you an angle, that way you can see I'm sitting on the front of the chair, got the foot on here, hold on. This is very important. If you let your pelvis slump backwards, you won't get much of a stretch when you bend forward. So the first thing you've got to do is sit up like a school photo, sit nice and tall in the spine, so you lift your chest forward, proud chest, be as regal as you can be, and let your shoulders just drop down so your bottom is untucked. So in this position, and then take a breath, very slowly lean forward from the hip, so you're hinging from the hip. You don't want to curl over at the waist, which is up here. You actually try and bend forward with a straight back to get a stretch around the hip. So this is the hip, the actual hip that we're actually stretching, and I'll just turn this around. This is in here. So I want to keep this hip on the chair, sit up nice and tall, and you're leaning forwards. That's it. So as you're pulsing, this is one of the myths of stretching, is that you should be just holding still. Don't do that. Actually allow yourself to fidget. Allow yourself to pulse in so that you can feel you start to warm up, starts to feel like a stretch. Some people feel it on the inside of their leg, they can feel it in their hamstring, they can feel it in the bottom, in their lower back. And that's okay. Wherever you're tight, that's where you're going to feel it. Now, my arms, I call these kangaroo paws. You can pull back in that action back to your hips to try and lift your chest up a little bit taller. You can feel that stretch around that hip. Now, if you're very flexible, you can hold the front of your knee, pull yourself down a little bit more. For me, this is a great stretch just by sitting up nice and tall. The top of my head to my tailbone is actually a nice long straight line. Okay, let's do a contraction. And what I mean by that is I'm going to use this hip to press this foot down into my own thigh. So pressing is if I'm trying to do a kick like that. So pressing down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I relax, I re-cue myself, untuck my bottom a little bit more, flatten my navel towards my thigh, lean forward a little bit more, pull myself in a little bit deeper.
Great stretch for that hip. If you feel any neural sensation, nerve sensation, pins and needles, it's time to come out. But remember, when you're stretching, you're not just doing the muscles, you're doing fascia, nerves, blood vessels. Now this is how we come back. We just sit back. I take the hold behind my leg and put the foot down. Stand up. Just give yourself a bit of a shake. Maybe do a few circles with your hips. Just feel the difference between one hip to the other. Very simple way of doing this stretch. Okay, let's do the other side. So I will sit this way so that you can see. Front edge of the chair, link behind, down, lift up. Pop your foot on top of your thigh, and if you want to, you can just bring your foot in a little bit more. Sit up nice and tall. If you start low, just slide in. If you have your foot like this, where it's tucked in and it's gone below the knee and back, you can't actually lean forward without feel like you're falling. So it's better to have your foot in the front here. Just hold in front of the shin. I'm just going to shuffle myself around so you can see. All right, sit up nice and tall. As soon as you sit up, you can feel that actually that's a bit more of a stretch. Forward a little bit more, untuck the butt. Use your hands to gently pull on your own leg just to get it a little bit stronger. And lengthen your spine. Get your chin tucked in. You don't have to lead with your face. Just chin tucked in, fall through the crown. Take a breath and just gently lean forward. Just gently doing tiny bounces, little fidgets. The nice thing about fidgeting is you're going into the stretch and off. So it's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. You can feel yourself warming up, going a little bit deeper, nice and soft. One of the surprising things I learned is that going hard, going fast, they have their moments, but not in this type of stretching when you're trying to nourish the joint. This is really important. Okay, let's do a contraction. I'm going to press that foot down into my own leg using my hip. So press down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, lift your chest forward, take a breath. And on the exhale, go a little bit deeper, a little bit further. Excellent. And then we hold this for about 3 to 5 breaths when we're practicing. All of the stretches we're doing can be done every day, no problem. We're doing it in a lingering fashion. Okay, slowly lean back to come out, and let's change legs again. Put that leg down on the floor, stand up, give yourself a bit of a wriggle round to see if you can actually feel the difference in your hips. Just doing a few circles, go back the other way. A bit like a qigong class. Okay, so now I'm going to go back around the other side. This time, still sitting on the front of my chair, we're going to cradle the bent leg. So this is a stretch that people do all the time, but I'm going to show you a way that's actually been more intense for me in the last few weeks. So grab my leg, lean back, let's do it together. Pop the foot back on your side, so same position as when we started. Now you're going to turn towards this bent leg, and then taking your 2 hands, lean forward and just pull it up just high enough to get the crook of your elbow around what I call the crown of the knee, and then hold the wrist. Don't hold the elbow, hold the wrist. Take a breath, straighten up your spine again, so lift up again. So you see the little picture of my chest, just lift it up a little bit higher. And then I squeeze the knee in just a little bit more, and it's a massive stretch around here. The leaning forwards allows you to actually keep this hip on the chair. So I'll just go through that again in case you just missed that. There's foot on thigh. I turn towards the bent leg, hold two hands, lean forward, lift up just high enough to get the elbow wrapped around the top of the knee there, hold the wrist, take a breath, lengthen the spine a little bit more so you see more of my chest. And now I squeeze this knee in that tiny bit more. This is an excellent stretch. If you can't get your elbow around, you just keep holding on like this. This is okay. This is definitely okay. This is one of the most common stretches that I have to teach to people because our hips get so tight around there. All right, now let's do a contraction. Press your knee down into your hands or your elbow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop, don't move. Relax. Take another breath. And on the exhale, squeeze that knee in a little bit more, a little bit stronger. And now you may be able to manage to wrap your arm around and cradle that leg like a baby. Keep lengthening your spine, lifting, sitting up nice and tall. And relax. Now, if that was all too hard, you just stay in this position and you lean forwards. So you can see that the fulcrum or the joint that we're moving around is the hip. In this one, the body's leaning forward. In this one, the leg is coming to the body. So that's the difference between the two stretches. All right, let's do the other side. So I'll take this leg down. You stand up, give yourself a wriggle if you need to. Let's do this again. Okay, sitting on the front of the chair. All right, let your hands go around your thigh, lean back, pop the foot onto your thigh, turn towards this bent leg. So you can feel that little rotation already starts initiating the stretch. Put your two hands around your knee. Lean forward, gently lift up just enough so you can get your arm wrapped around the knee. Hold on. Lengthen the spine, proud chest, nice and tall. Squeezing a little bit more. You may have noticed you have one side tighter than the other. So in your normal practice, you do your tight side first, then your loose side, then your tight side. Time to do a contraction. Press your knee into your arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop, relax. Okay. On the exhale, re-stretch, squeeze it in a little bit more. Lean into your leg, lengthen the spine. Lift up through your crown. Nice and tall. I'm not talking. I'm actually feeling the sensation of what's happening around the hip, and the back, and the arms. You'll notice how strong or not strong my arms are today. All right, time to let it out. Just let that leg down. Put your hands behind, sit back, and gently place your leg down on the floor. All right, stand up again. Do a few more circles. Give yourself a wriggle. A long time ago, I was told by a very famous teacher to treat the body like a wild animal. And if you've got an injury, you've got to treat yourself like you're a wounded wild animal. And so you take care, and you slow down to try and get more of a stretch. So you can always back out of something. If something's too strong, you can always stop. Stop, go back to an easier version. So that's why I taught you the first version first, which is nice and easy. Then the second version is to cradle with the leg, and you may feel quite nice and warm here in the back of your hips. But what about the front of your hips? So we're going to finish off with a hip flexor stretch. Very easy one to do is to turn sideways on your chair and see if you can drop this leg down. Because I can hold on to the chair and I can hold on to the seat, I'm not going to overbalance. And if I bend forward, I can slide this back leg back a little bit further back. Squeeze my bottom hard. Now notice that my hips are very square. So there's no flaring out like this and wondering where the stretch went. I'm going to keep this hip turned over. So when I first start off, I'm sitting sideways on my chair. This leg is sitting on the chair and this bottom isn't, so that I can slide my leg back. I'm leaning forwards because if you're upright, you can't take your leg back. This is too much tension. So lean forwards a little bit, hold on to the chair, slide your back leg back to a comfortable position, take a breath, and relax. You're aiming to get this back hip towards this front knee, just to turn it over to keep your hips level and square. They're both hips are facing forward. Okay, from this position, squeeze your bottom hard. So you got your tuck on, got your bottom squeezed on hard, so you're lacking glutes. This is great exercise. And now attempt to straighten the back leg. And notice how that pulls the stretch on in the front of that hip. For some of you, that may be enough stretch. For those who are more flexible, take a breath, keep your bottom squeezed on, and use your hands, your arms to press yourself up a little bit taller. And that's going to pull the stretch right up through the front of your body. Great stretch. Really like it. Now, the pulsing you can do is try and press that leg towards, back leg towards straight, and then relax it. Press back towards straight, relax it. Press back, relax. Press back and hold. Lift your chest up a little bit more. Feel that stretch through the front here. For the brave ones, you can see if you can bring this arm up. See if you can actually reach up to the ceiling for that long stretch. Fantastic. And now we're going to get on to the other side. So slowly transition to the other side. I just do a quick swivel. Moving furniture so awesome. Don't have to buy anything fancy, just a chair. Okay, so we lean forwards, slide the back leg back without the hips flaring. So remember, just go back just enough that you think, okay, that's my limit. Hold that position, squeeze your bottom hard, feel the stretch in the front of the hip. And then from this position, do a little leg straightening effort. Press that back heel back, hold that position, and use your arm to try and press yourself up a little bit taller. Pressing that heel back, feel that open up through the front, squeeze your bottom a bit more. This is another little nifty thing to do, is put your hand on your own bottom and push it forward. So you can push your hip down towards the floor. You can feel how that increases the stretch. Squeeze the bottom strong, keep the chest lifted, and then take that support arm and reach as far forward as you possibly can. That's it. Good form all round. Notice it's making you breathe deep. That's what I really like too. These are challenging. These take effort. All your awareness is feeling these sensations. See if you can lean back and bring your arm back a little bit more vertical. Good job. Reach up. Reach, reach, reach. There's the stretch. Superb. All right, slowly lower your arm down. Hold onto your chair.
Bring your back leg back.
And you're done.
You made it.
Thank you so much for listening. So they're great stretches for you to do, and you can do them every day, no problem, when you're doing it in that sort of limbering way. You want to be able to feel like you've just nourished your joints, you've discharged tension around your hips. That last stretch also actually affects the neck. So when all this structure in the front is tight, it pulls your neck down, creates tension here. So when you can loosen off the front, and you can lift your arms up, opening this, you'll find that your head is actually sitting back over your body. You may find that it will take a few weeks practice, but if you could do this every day, I strongly recommend it, that you do it softly, gently, every day for a couple of weeks and feel the difference. Enjoy.